What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Trucker 219. So one of the craziest things that could possibly happen to a truck driver happened to me recently. My truck caught fire. Here's what happened. So about a week and a half ago, my truck was in the shop to get some maintenance done on it. It had an oil leak at the bottom of the engine. They fixed the issue and cleaned up everything that was messed up with it and got it back to running again. Well, when I picked it up, I was starting to experience a bit of a loss of power. So I reached out to my boss and asked him everything that had been done with it to see if it had got a PM done on it or just an oil change. So after I let my boss know that I was experiencing a loss of power and realizing that it had only had an oil change done to it and not preventative maintenance, we started running through the list of what could be causing the loss of power. The first thing you want to check is the fuel filters. In my video about the old yard truck, ancient yard truck, I was talking about looking for fuel filters to replace in the truck. So I found a place that had the fuel filters, got those replaced. I was still experiencing a loss of power. So the next thing was the air filter. The air filter didn't look too bad when I opened it up. It seemed to be fine. But we went ahead and replaced it anyway, just to be safe. Well, I was still experiencing a loss of power, and we couldn't figure out what was going on. So I was just making my way down the road, getting through my trip, and when I got back into our area, we have a shop and a mechanic that was going to take a look at it. So I was on my way back from my trip, and I was coming up a mountain. Over here in Tennessee, they have a mountain that's called Mount Eagle. And really, it's just the name of the town that's at the top of the mountain, but everybody calls it Mount Eagle. So I was climbing up the mountain, no issue other than the loss of power, which I had experienced the whole time, so it wasn't much of a difference. I get down the mountain just fine, put on my engine brakes, slow down, make sure I'm getting down the mountain safely. I had made it down the road another 4 miles. I start hearing a clanking and popping sound in the engine. I start hearing hoses snapping, all of that. I didn't know what was going on, so I immediately pulled the truck off to the side of the road. Once I got to the side of the road, I snapped a picture of some smoke that was coming out of the engine. I didn't know if it had overheated or what was going on. At the time, I didn't realize the full extent of what was happening. So I snap a picture and I call my boss. So as you can see in that picture, it's pretty dark smoke, and I was a little worried about it, but not too bad. I got on the phone with my boss, told him what was happening, and was going to see if he had any suggestions. Well, shortly after I got on the phone with the boss, I seen smoke starting to come into the cab. After I'd seen the smoke coming into the cab, I knew it's time to get out of here. So I grabbed up everything that I had in my immediate area, my phone, my wallet, my keys, just the main stuff that, I take with me anytime I get out of the truck. I threw it into my go bag. I hop out and run to the front of the engine, and I see fireballs dripping from the bottom of the engine. Well, it's time to get to a safe spot. Rush around the traffic and go to the back of the trailer where I knew I had the protection of the trailer. Just as I came to the back of the trailer, there was a police officer that was pulling behind me because he noticed that I had pulled off the shoulder, wanted to make sure everything was okay. So I let the officer know, hey, my truck's on fire, you might want to call fire out here. He goes, okay, no problem. At this point, I'm still on the phone with my boss, letting him know what's going on. I give him a mile marker of where I'm at. He goes, okay, just talk with the police, let them know what's going on. Call me if you have any more issues. I'm going to start making my way that way. After I got off the phone with the boss, I call my wife, let her know what's going on. I'm all right, I'm safe, no problems, but my truck's on fire. And then I started recording with my phone the fire. So my truck just caught fire. The engine blew up on it. Goodness gracious. There goes one of the tires. God damn. Luckily this officer here has seen it happen and pulled off, and he's calling fire over here. Holy crap. I don't know why they didn't stop both lanes pretty quickly. They shut down one and were letting people pass, but when they started hearing the popping going off, then they started to block off both lanes. Mirrors fell down, tires are starting to blow. I think the DEF tank already exploded. Hopefully those fuel tanks hold up until fire gets here. Holy cow. I'm standing behind the trailer so I don't get hit. Yeah, I was having a loss of power issue and I was working my way to the shop and I heard some ticking in the engine and it just blew up. I heard the ticking in the engine. I started pulling off to the shoulder. I got stopped. I saw smoke pouring out, grabbed what I could and hopped on out of there. Dang. Jeez, oh Pete. Oh, glass just broke on the back. I seen it fall. So it's made it to the back of the cab. Wow. All that smoke pouring out. I hear fire coming up now. Nope, just police. Damn. So about 15 minutes after I got stopped on the side of the road and the police officer called the fire department showed up. At this point, a wrecker had been called out, a wrecker service to tow away the truck and the trailer. My boss was on his way, and I was just, watching them put out the fire, making sure everything was good. I don't think the fuel tanks have busted yet. I think that's what they're worried about right now. The guy just came and asked me how much fuel is in it. It's about 3/4 of a tank full. I got the majority of my stuff out of there. I didn't realize it at the time of how much stuff I actually had in the truck. It equated to be roughly $3,000 worth of stuff. I wonder if there's going to be anything left though. I'm curious. I think the trailer's pretty much untouched. I don't have anything flammable or anything in there. I think it's just sand actually, just a high quality sand, like sand blasting or something like that. bill of lading is in there though, which was in there. Well, when the fire was put out, my curiosity got the best of me. I started to look around the truck, see what I could see. I found a few things that were still recognizable on the ground by where they had put out the fire. So in the aftermath of this fire that completely destroyed the truck, I started recording what the truck looked like afterwards. There is not much left to this truck at all. You can barely recognize anything in the truck. So this is the aftermath. I got it all rinsed out. Well, that's what happened right there. The turbo probably went out on it and blew it up. I'm curious to see on the inside. It's still smoldering a little bit. My chair. Steering wheel. Radio's done for. Goodness gracious. I like the sunlight though. These wires hanging everywhere. That's gnarly. Glad I got out of that. Another thing that I had noticed walking around the truck after it had been put out, the fire department has left at this point. The wrecker truck just got there to be able to tow that away. I noticed on the shoulder of the road where the truck was on fire at, there was a stream. You know, if you wash your car, you see the stream of water going down your driveway or whatever. Well, there was a stream of metal that had melted off of the truck and pulled up and streamed into this pretty crazy tree-like design. So after it's all said and done in an accident or a fire or any sort of incident, insurance paperwork has to be filled out. If you don't know, I work for a pretty small company. We have about 5 drivers, so we're pretty tight-knit. The boss and his wife both run the company that I work for. And she sent me a picture of her filling out the insurance paperwork. And on the paperwork it asks condition of vehicle. And she's got a great sense of humor, so she wrote down crispy. So yeah, that's my story. My truck caught fire. The yellow truck is no longer in service. Obviously, it's done for. As you can see in some of the videos, the trailer did get a little bit heated up. But all that needs to be done to that is a paint job. But at the end of the day, I'm glad I'm safe. I got to make it home to my family, hug my wife and kids. Obviously, I kept my wife in the loop throughout the whole time, but my kids were pretty curious and worried about me and wanted to check out the pictures and videos and stuff. But I'm glad I'm safe. I'm glad I made it out. Hey, so if there's any questions that I didn't answer in the video about the fire, what happens afterwards, anything like that, it is really one of the craziest experiences that I've ever had on the road. The only other thing that I could possibly think of is when I tipped a truck. And I will tell you that story here soon. But stay tuned, subscribe, like the channel. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of it. And I'll catch you on the next one. Be safe.